Hey everybody. Now, let me tell you about my mum and the internet. Now, I love my mum to bits, but she is really genuinely inept when it comes to technology, like specially inept. She's in her sort of mid to late 70s and has not grown up with technology, doesn't understand it, and it really struggles. Now, a few years ago, we managed to convince her to try, and she did actually learn how to use the Windows desktop. So basically, like Word and applications like that. And she's learned the concept of double clicking, although that was particularly painful because if you've ever seen an old person try and double click something, it's just so unbelievably natural for us and so unbelievably like you wouldn't think you could make a mess of it, but you can absolutely make a mess of it. And an old person double clicking is like click, pause, click. And like nothing happens. It's like they've managed to click and then move the mouse a little bit and then click again. Or my personal favorite where they click in the text box area and then move the mouse and click again. Of course, then it's asking them to rename the application, which they inevitably do for some absurd reason. I don't know how. And so that now they've renamed the Word application or the shortcut to Word on their desktop. It doesn't work. Or another good one is click, drag, click, where you actually move the icon a little bit, and they get really confused. And ears are just ends and tears. However, I wouldn't have thought you could make a mess of double clicking something, but my mum has proved that wrong. But anyway, she managed to learn eventually how to double click things, and she's actually competent at using the desktop now, and she does not actually able to translate that, however, into the behavior of where you do not need to double click things. And in particular on the World Wide Web, when you're browsing on Internet Explorer or whatever, you don't need to double click things. In fact, I've tried to tell Mum many times the internet is a double click free zone, but that doesn't actually work because when she's out there on a website, she goes, oh, this is interesting, click, click. And of course, you know what that does? It opens 2 new browsers or tries to launch something twice. It is exacerbated by the fact that my mum is, bless her to death, but my God, she cannot tell the difference between part of the website and a Google ad or any other sort of dodgy thing that might be part of the website or presenting itself as one of the elements of the website. She's like, oh, there's an interesting ad. You see, you won't think ad. There's an interesting part of the website I want to go. Click, click. And of course, 2 new pop-ups occur. She browses like this for a while. Click, 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 click. And double-clicking everything, mismatching like the Google ads. And basically what starts out like an article on Wikipedia or something slowly descends and gets like through dodgier and dodgier processes. Like once she's been on there for 20 minutes, there's like 40 browsers open. 3 of them are playing like music and 2 of them are playing porn and there's a video going and the back button doesn't work because there's like a million different tabs and browsers. It's just a disaster. And as a result of that, her machine is the most virus-ridden piece of crap you could conceivably imagine. Like she's got a laptop, which is just, it's like a teenager with LimeWire. Like they just nuked this thing. It's just a complete walking disaster. Nothing works. Like the audio will randomly cut out, the video will cut out. It's like a million bots that are competing with each other to try and use the processor and the GPU, and it's probably mining bitcoins in the background and God knows what else. And it's just a nightmare. And then, of course, the consequences of this are that nothing works correctly. And then I am the one who has to apparently fix this. It's like she'll ring me up like, the printer doesn't work. Like, what would I know about your printer? Like, I've been in technology for 15 years, but I am like so far past the point at which I was dealing with printers, which was basically never. And she's like, oh, you've got a degree in business computing, which is a phrase which just makes me cringe. And she genuinely believes that that's what I do is business computing, despite the fact that I've told her many times. Like, basically, for the record, I'm the head of business intelligence and corporate analytics at like a large FTSE 100 company. Like, it's the degree to which I have gone past fixing printers is just astronomical. Like, I don't know how to do it, but then nobody knows how to do anything in technology. It's usually you know how to find out. You basically Google the symptom and then go and deal with that. And the ability to work out what steps to take is a critical one, but she doesn't have any of that. And so, of course, the conversation is basically, my printer doesn't work. Can you fix it? Like, no, I can't fix your printer, obviously. She's like, oh, it's a Canon. Like, really? What is that going to do? Like, how could that conceivably help me? But it's like, all right, you're trying. So we've made an agreement, or rather, I've told her, and she's eventually stopped pestering me that I am not going to fix any more of her technology problems ever again. If she wants to pay someone from a random computer shop to do that for her, then she's more than welcome. It's not worth my time anymore. But I would like to think that hopefully I am a member of what might be the last generation to have to deal with this, because I grew up with technology, and every generation that comes after us will also have grown up with technology. So by the time I'm sort of in the same age as her, I'm hoping that at that point, when we have God knows what, like smell-driven interfaces and 3D browsers or God knows what, everything is actually going to be a lot more intuitive for me than it is for her. And I really hope I can cope with that. But I guess we'll find out. So tell me about your experience with your parents, or possibly your grandparents, and their ability to use the internet and technology. I hope it's better than my mum. It couldn't really be much worse.